Have you ever noticed how we spend so much time watching other people's lives that we forget to live our own? We scroll, we compare, we judge ourselves, and slowly, without realizing it, we lose our smile. Today, I want to ask you a simple but powerful question. When was the last time you truly focused on yourself? Not selfishly, not arrogantly, but consciously. Because happiness does not disappear suddenly. It fades when our focus shifts away from who we are. Most of our stress does not come from our problems, but from our comparison. We compare our chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20 and then wonder why we feel behind. Remember this, a flower does not compete with another flower, it just blooms. The moment you stop measuring your worth using someone else's scale, you begin to breathe again. Focus on your growth, your healing, your journey. Life becomes lighter when you stop carrying unnecessary expectations. One of the biggest reasons people lose happiness is because they constantly measure their lives against others. From the moment we wake up, we are exposed to highlights of other people's achievements, lifestyles, and milestones. Social media, conversations, and even casual observations silently push us into a comparison mindset. We begin to question our own progress, our abilities, and our worth, not because we are failing, but because we are looking at someone else's journey instead of our own. This habit gradually drains confidence and replaces self-belief with unnecessary self-doubt. Comparison is deeply misleading because it rarely shows the full picture. What we see in others is often a carefully presented version of success, not the struggle behind it. Every individual carries unseen challenges, sacrifices, and setbacks that are not visible from the outside. When we compare our real, imperfect life with someone else's polished moments, we create an unfair standard for ourselves. Over time, this leads to frustration, impatience, and the false belief that we are falling behind in life. Growth begins the moment we shift our attention inward. Focusing on personal development allows us to recognize where we started, how far we have come, and what still needs improvement. This internal focus encourages self-awareness rather than self-judgment. It replaces the pressure to outperform others with the motivation to improve one skill, one habit, and one decision at a time. Real progress is not about speed, it is about direction. When the direction is clear, growth becomes meaningful. Every person's timeline is different. Some achieve success early, others later, and many redefine success entirely along the way. There is no universal schedule for achievement, happiness, or fulfillment. The moment we accept this truth, the urge to compare begins to lose its power. Instead of asking why someone else is ahead, the focus shifts to what can be learned and applied within one's own life. This mindset transforms envy into inspiration and competition into clarity. Focusing on growth also strengthens emotional resilience. When self-worth is based on consistent effort rather than external validation, setbacks no longer feel like personal failures. They become part of the learning process. Mistakes are viewed as feedback, not as proof of inadequacy. This shift in perspective builds confidence that is stable, grounded, and independent of others' opinions or achievements. Another important aspect of growth is acknowledging personal strengths. Every individual has a unique combination of talents, experiences, and perspectives. Comparison often blinds us to these strengths by making us overly aware of what we lack instead of what we possess. When attention is directed toward refining personal abilities, creativity and motivation increase. Productivity improves not because of pressure, but because of purpose. Growth-focused thinking also promotes long-term satisfaction. Competing with others creates short-lived motivation that quickly turns into exhaustion. In contrast, competing with one's past self creates a sustainable drive for improvement. Small wins become meaningful, consistency becomes rewarding, and progress becomes visible. This steady advancement builds confidence that does not rely on recognition or approval. When people stop comparing and start growing, their relationship with success changes. Success is no longer defined by how it looks relative to others, but by how aligned it feels with personal values and goals. This alignment reduces anxiety and increases fulfillment. Life feels less like a race and more like a journey that is unfolding at the right pace. The decision to stop comparing is not about ignoring others, but about refusing to measure self-worth using someone else's achievements. Growth requires focus, patience, and self-respect. When energy is invested in learning, improving, and evolving, happiness begins to return naturally. The mind becomes calmer, confidence becomes stronger, and progress becomes personal rather than performative. In today's fast-paced and highly connected world, mental peace has become one of the most valuable yet most neglected assets. People often underestimate how much energy they lose by allowing unnecessary opinions, distractions, and emotional disturbances to enter their lives. Inner peace is not something that happens by chance. It is something that must be intentionally protected. Without this awareness, the mind becomes overcrowded with external noise, leaving little space for clarity, focus, and emotional balance. Every interaction we have carries an emotional cost. Not all conversations, opinions, or criticisms deserve the same level of attention. When individuals try to please everyone or respond to every comment, they unknowingly give away control of their emotional well-being. Over time, this habit creates exhaustion and frustration. Learning to filter what truly matters allows the mind to remain centered. Emotional maturity is reflected in the ability to choose calm over chaos and clarity over conflict. Protecting inner peace requires strong boundaries. Boundaries are not signs of weakness or selfishness. They are expressions of self-respect. When people fail to set boundaries, they often feel overwhelmed, resentful, and mentally drained. Clear boundaries help define where personal responsibility ends and where others' expectations begin. This separation allows individuals to engage with the world without losing themselves in it. Saying no when necessary preserves energy for priorities that truly align with personal goals and values. A major threat to inner peace is the constant need for validation. Seeking approval from others places emotional stability in external hands. Opinions change, people leave, and circumstances shift, making external validation unreliable. When self-worth depends on others' reactions, peace becomes fragile. Developing self-trust and internal validation creates emotional independence. Confidence rooted in self-acceptance remains stable even in challenging environments. Digital exposure also plays a significant role in disrupting peace. Continuous notifications, endless comparisons, and negative information overload the mind. While technology offers convenience, unregulated consumption can increase anxiety and restlessness. Conscious disengagement, even for short periods, allows the mind to reset. Silence, reflection, and mindful presence help reconnect individuals with their inner state, restoring balance and emotional clarity. Protecting peace also involves managing emotional reactions. Life will always present difficult people, unexpected situations, and uncomfortable truths. The difference lies in how one responds. Reacting impulsively often escalates stress, while thoughtful responses preserve dignity and calm. Emotional intelligence develops when individuals learn to use, observe, and respond rather than react. This ability reduces regret and enhances mental strength. Another important aspect of inner peace is letting go of unnecessary guilt and self-criticism. Many people carry emotional burdens from the past, replaying mistakes and perceived failures. This constant self-judgment disturbs mental stability and limits personal growth. Accepting imperfections and learning from experiences allows the mind to move forward without emotional weight. Peace grows when self-compassion replaces harsh self-evaluation. Surroundings and relationships also influence inner peace. Spending time with people who drain energy, encourage negativity, or undermine confidence gradually affects emotional health. Choosing supportive, respectful, and growth-oriented environments contributes to mental well-being. Peace is sustained when individuals align themselves with people and spaces that promote positivity and understanding. Protecting inner peace does not mean avoiding responsibility or challenges. It means approaching life with awareness and balance. When peace becomes a priority, decision-making improves, focus sharpens, and resilience strengthens. The mind becomes a place of stability rather than stress. Through conscious choices, emotional discipline, and self-respect, inner peace transforms from a temporary feeling into a consistent state of being. Happiness is often misunderstood as something that arrives through people, achievements, or favorable circumstances. Many individuals postpone their happiness, believing it will come once a certain goal is achieved, a relationship improves, or external conditions change. This mindset places happiness outside personal control, making it dependent on factors that are unpredictable and temporary. When happiness is treated as an external reward, it becomes fragile, easily disrupted by disappointment, delay, or loss. Taking responsibility for happiness requires a shift in perspective. It begins with understanding that while external factors can influence emotions, they do not have the power to define long-term well-being. People may contribute to moments of joy or stress, but they cannot be held accountable for someone else's emotional state. Expecting others to fulfill emotional needs often leads to frustration and unmet expectations. True emotional stability develops when individuals accept that their thoughts, attitudes, and choices play the central role in how they experience life. Personal responsibility for happiness is closely tied to mindset. The way situations are interpreted determines emotional responses more than the situations themselves. Two people can face the same challenge and experience it very differently based on their internal dialogue. A mindset focused on growth, learning, and acceptance creates resilience, while a mindset centered on blame and victimhood weakens emotional strength. Choosing empowering thoughts does not ignore reality. It equips individuals to handle reality with confidence and balance. Daily choices also shape happiness. Small decisions regarding routines, habits, and priorities accumulate over time and significantly impact emotional well-being. Consistent sleep, mindful nutrition, physical movement, and moments of reflection contribute to mental clarity and emotional stability. These choices may appear ordinary, but they form the foundation of a healthy inner state. When individuals neglect these areas, they often search for happiness in shortcuts or distractions, which offer temporary relief but not lasting fulfillment. Another essential aspect of personal responsibility is emotional regulation. Life inevitably includes setbacks, misunderstandings, and uncertainty. Emotional maturity lies in acknowledging feelings without allowing them to control behavior. Taking responsibility means recognizing emotions, understanding their source, and responding constructively. This approach prevents emotional reactions from damaging relationships, decisions, and self-respect. Over time, emotional regulation builds confidence and inner calm. Letting go of blame is a powerful step toward happiness. Blaming circumstances, past experiences, or other people may feel justified, but it keeps individuals mentally stuck. Responsibility does not mean denying pain or invalidating experiences. It means choosing not to remain defined by them. When responsibility is accepted, focus shifts from what went wrong to what can be done next. This shift restores a sense of control and direction. Self-awareness strengthens the ability to take responsibility for happiness. Understanding personal triggers, strengths, and limitations allows individuals to make informed choices about how they live and interact with others. Awareness creates clarity, reducing unnecessary emotional reactions. With clarity comes the ability to align actions with values, which is a major source of inner satisfaction. When actions and values are aligned, happiness becomes more consistent and authentic. Responsibility for happiness also involves self-compassion. Holding oneself accountable does not require harsh self-criticism. Growth thrives in an environment of understanding and patience. Accepting imperfections while committing to improvement creates emotional balance. People who practice self-compassion recover faster from setbacks and maintain motivation without emotional exhaustion. When individuals fully accept that they are responsible for their happiness, their relationship with life changes. They stop waiting for permission to feel fulfilled and begin creating meaning through intention and effort. Happiness becomes less about circumstances and more about inner alignment. This sense of ownership empowers individuals to face challenges with confidence, appreciate progress, and experience life with greater clarity and purpose. A significant source of stress in modern life comes from the constant attempt to control outcomes, people, and situations. Many individuals believe that peace and success depend on ensuring everything goes according to plan. When reality fails to match expectations, frustration and anxiety begin to dominate. This struggle often arises from the false assumption that control guarantees security. In truth, excessive control creates mental pressure and emotional fatigue, leaving little room for adaptability and calm. Life is inherently unpredictable. No amount of planning can eliminate uncertainty or guarantee results. External events, other people's decisions, and changing circumstances exist beyond personal influence. When individuals resist this reality, they expend energy on worry rather than progress. Letting go of what cannot be controlled is not an act of surrender, but an act of wisdom. It reflects an understanding of where effort is effective and where acceptance is necessary. Focusing on effort instead of outcomes shifts attention to areas where influence truly exists. Effort involves preparation, consistency, and commitment to action. Outcomes, however, are shaped by multiple variables, many of which remain outside personal reach. When satisfaction depends solely on results, motivation becomes unstable. In contrast, valuing effort builds resilience. Individuals feel accomplished knowing they gave their best, regardless of how circumstances unfolded. Acceptance plays a crucial role in emotional well-being. Accepting situations does not mean agreeing with them or giving up ambitio. It means acknowledging reality without resistance. Resistance amplifies stress, while acceptance reduces emotional friction. When individuals stop fighting what has already happened, they regain mental clarity and the ability to respond effectively. Acceptance creates space for rational thinking and informed decision-making. Another aspect of letting go is releasing the need to control other people. Every individual has their own perspectives, priorities, and limitations. Attempting to manage others' actions often leads to disappointment and strained relationships. Respecting autonomy fosters healthier interactions and emotional freedom. When expectations are realistic and boundaries are clear, relationships become less stressful and more respectful. Uncontrolled worry is another form of misplaced control. Constantly imagining worst-case scenarios does not prevent them from happening. Instead, it exhausts the mind and diminishes present focus. Learning to distinguish between productive planning and repetitive worrying is essential. Productive planning leads to action, while worry leads to mental paralysis. Choosing to address challenges when they arise preserves energy and enhances performance. Letting go also involves trusting the process of growth. Not every effort produces immediate results, and not every setback indicates failure. Progress often occurs gradually and unpredictably. Trusting the process encourages patience and persistence. It allows individuals to remain committed even when outcomes are delayed. This trust reduces emotional volatility and strengthens long-term focus. Control often stems from fear, particularly fear of failure or uncertainty. Addressing this fear requires self-awareness and confidence in one's ability to adapt. When individuals trust themselves to handle challenges, the need to control everything diminishes. Confidence replaces fear, and flexibility replaces rigidity. This shift allows for creative problem-solving and emotional balance. When people let go of what they cannot control, they reclaim mental space and emotional energy. This reclaimed energy can be directed toward learning, improving skills, and building meaningful experiences. Life becomes less about forcing outcomes and more about navigating change with clarity and strength. Through acceptance, focused effort, and self-trust, individuals experience greater peace and a more sustainable sense of fulfillment. Happiness is often perceived as a result of major achievements or dramatic changes, but in reality, it is built through small, consistent actions practiced daily. These habits may appear insignificant in isolation, yet over time they shape mindset, behavior, and emotional stability. A fulfilled life is rarely the outcome of a single breakthrough. It is the result of repeated choices that support mental clarity, physical well-being, and emotional balance. Daily habits influence how individuals experience their lives more than occasional moments of success. The way a day begins often determines its direction. Simple practices such as waking up with intention, organizing priorities, or taking a few moments for reflection can establish a sense of control and calm. When days start with structure rather than chaos, the mind becomes more focused and less reactive. This stability creates space for thoughtful decision-making and sustained productivity. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Many people attempt to transform their lives through extreme effort, only to become overwhelmed and disengaged. Sustainable happiness grows from habits that are realistic and repeatable. Small acts such as reading a few pages daily, maintaining a brief exercise routine, or practicing gratitude each evening gradually strengthen discipline and self-trust. These practices reinforce the belief that progress is possible through steady effort, not pressure. Mental habits are as important as physical ones. The thoughts repeated each day shape emotional patterns. When individuals consciously practice positive self-talk and challenge limiting beliefs, they reprogram how they respond to challenges. This does not involve denying difficulties, but approaching them with clarity and confidence. Over time, constructive thinking becomes automatic, reducing stress and increasing emotional resilience. Gratitude is a powerful daily habit that shifts focus from what is lacking to what is present. Regularly acknowledging positive aspects of life enhances perspective and emotional balance. Gratitude does not ignore problems, it provides context. By recognizing progress, support, and opportunities, individuals experience a deeper sense of contentment. This habit strengthens emotional awareness and reduces the tendency to dwell on negativity. Physical well-being also plays a crucial role in happiness. Regular movement, sufficient rest, and mindful nutrition directly impact mood and energy levels. When the body is neglected, mental clarity diminishes and emotional regulation becomes more difficult. Simple routines that support physical health enhance focus, patience, and motivation. These benefits accumulate, making daily challenges easier to manage. Reflection is another habit that contributes to long-term happiness. Taking time to evaluate actions, decisions, and emotional responses promotes self-awareness. Reflection allows individuals to learn from experiences rather than repeat patterns. unconsciously. This awareness supports personal growth and informed decision-making. Over time, reflection builds a sense of direction and purpose. Discipline within daily habits fosters confidence. Each completed routine reinforces reliability and commitment to self-improvement. This consistency builds self-respect and reduces reliance on external motivation. When individuals trust themselves to follow through, they experience a deeper sense of fulfillment. Confidence rooted in discipline is stable and enduring. Small daily habits also reduce emotional volatility. Structure provides predictability in an unpredictable world. When routines are in place, stress decreases and focus improves. Life feels less overwhelming because there is a sense of order and control. This stability supports long-term emotional well-being. Happiness built through habits is not dependent on circumstances. It is resilient, adaptable, and sustainable. Over time, these practices shape character, enhance clarity, and strengthen inner balance. Through consistent effort, daily habits quietly transform life, creating a foundation for lasting happiness and personal fulfillment. Many people delay pride and satisfaction until they reach an ideal version of themselves. They believe confidence will come after perfection is achieved, when every goal is completed and every flaw eliminated. This mindset creates constant dissatisfaction, because perfection is not only unrealistic, but also continuously shifting. When individuals measure their worth against an unattainable standard, they overlook meaningful progress and undermine their own motivation. Progress offers a healthier and more productive framework. It recognizes improvement, effort, and learning rather than flawless outcomes. Focusing on progress allows individuals to acknowledge each step forward, regardless of size. These small advancements build momentum and reinforce belief in one's ability to grow. Over time, this approach nurtures confidence that is grounded in action rather than appearance. Perfectionism often leads to procrastination. When people feel pressure to perform flawlessly, they delay starting tasks out of fear of making mistakes. This hesitation limits opportunities for growth and learning. Emphasizing progress encourages action. Mistakes become part of the development process rather than evidence of failure. Each attempt provides insight, skill refinement, and experience that cannot be gained through avoidance. A progress-oriented mindset also supports resilience. Setbacks are inevitable, but when success is defined by continuous improvement, challenges lose their power to discourage. Difficulties become signals for adjustment rather than reasons to stop. This perspective allows individuals to recover faster and maintain motivation. Resilience grows when individuals understand that progress is rarely linear and that pauses or detours do not erase forward movement. Self-acceptance is strengthened through a focus on progress. Individuals learn to value themselves at every stage of growth, rather than only at the finish line. This acceptance reduces self-criticism and emotional exhaustion. When people allow themselves to be imperfect yet committed, they experience greater emotional balance and consistency. Growth becomes a supportive process rather than a punishing one. Progress also promotes clarity in goal setting. Instead of overwhelming objectives, individuals break ambitions into manageable steps. This clarity increases focus and reduces anxiety. Each completed step provides a sense of accomplishment, reinforcing motivation. Over time, these incremental successes accumulate into significant transformation. Progress-driven goals are sustainable because they align with realistic expectations and consistent effort. In professional environments, progress-oriented individuals demonstrate adaptability and continuous learning. They seek feedback, refine skills, and remain open to improvement. This mindset enhances performance and collaboration. Rather than fearing evaluation, they view it as an opportunity for development. This approach fosters innovation and long-term success. Emotionally, focusing on progress reduces comparison and self-doubt. Individuals measure growth against their own past performance rather than others' achievements. This internal reference point stabilizes confidence and supports authenticity. Satisfaction comes from personal alignment and improvement rather than external validation. Progress also cultivates patience. Individuals understand that meaningful change requires time and persistence. This patience reduces frustration and unrealistic pressure. When expectations are aligned with gradual development, individuals experience greater peace and consistency. They remain committed without becoming discouraged by temporary setbacks. A life centered on progress encourages continuous reflection and adjustment. Individuals regularly assess what is working and what needs improvement. This reflective practice supports long-term growth and personal fulfillment. Progress becomes a lifelong process rather than a temporary goal. By valuing progress over perfection, individuals create an environment where effort is respected, learning is encouraged, and confidence is sustained. This mindset supports lasting motivation, emotional resilience, and a balanced sense of self-worth. So as you walk away today, carry this message with you. Focus on yourself, not to escape the world, but to face it with strength. Let go of comparison, release control, and reconnect with who you truly are. When you do that, happiness doesn't need to be found again, because you realize it was within you all along. Thank you